as I think about what's in common across these three innovators and what can we take away from their stories that's of equal applicability to us regardless of what we do, I think actually about the example of a Japanese artist named An Kawara. You can see a series of his paintings called Today in the Dia Museum up in Beacon, New York. In some ways, this is about the least promising artistic concept that you could imagine. These paintings called Today, each of them consists of a monochromatic canvas, usually black, occasionally blue or red, with a date painted in a standard font that Kawara uses in the middle of the canvas. I mean, one could not really imagine anything visually less interesting. And at one corner of this gallery in the Beacon Museum is a chart. The chart has the 365 days of the year on the horizontal axis and the years from 1900 forward on the vertical axis. And Kawara is about 67 years old. You can see highlighted across the chart, starting in 1933, the span of his life. And beginning around his 33rd birthday, there start appearing dots, each dot for a day in which he executed one of these paintings called Today. There's never a period of more than 3 weeks in which there isn't a dot. Often every day for a period of time, he'll paint one of these paintings. Over the course of his life to date, he's painted paintings in this series that hang in 94 different countries. This concept, as unpromising as it is, has come to have incredible meaning. His paintings have hung next to masterpieces of all kinds in museums. Now, Kawara has never in his life given an interview, which gives people like me complete license to interpret his work however we see fit. And I would interpret it in this context as saying that any endeavor, even as seemingly meaningless as painting a date on a canvas, will be meaningful and will contribute to the world if it follows two very simple principles. The first is intense absorption in the moment itself, which to me is embodied in the very simple act that Shaquille described to us of you're riding in a car, you hit a bump, what could that bump mean to the world? And the second principle, sustaining an endeavor over the very long term. So this is not the easiest moment, as Rick said earlier over lunch, to be using other people's borrowed money to generate green building projects to advance the state of green building in the world. And yet, if people don't continue that endeavor at these difficult moments, the world doesn't move forward. And if we ask all of us the why that Rick asks about if we're an instrument for something, for each other, for the generations to come, what could that be an instrument for? So I hope we take away from this panel not only the incredible ingenuity of these three people, but the simplicity of some of the principles that they followed.